Okay, I have a question for you. What do you do when you're bored? When I ask you this question, I think we all have answers, right? I go and play sports. Maybe I play some instrument. Maybe I go and meet my friends. We all have answers of what we do when we're bored. But I think we have one answer that all of us are not talking about. And this answer suits 99% of us. And the answer is that majority of us, when we get bored, we we high ourselves with dopamine so that we are not bored again, and we just follow this phase of getting high by dopamine. Now this can be done through using social media or using phone or maybe eating our feelings away. The reason why I said those first is because those perfectly suit me. Like that's basically me. But we still have many other methods, right, of basically getting high with dopamine. We 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 can watch some stupid Netflix show if we wish to. What I'm trying to say with this entire thing is that on this modern time, boredom is something that can be completely avoided. Okay, we have so many methods of entertainment. We have so many methods of like dopamine in like around environment that we can just use these methods to get ourselves high with dopamine again and again and again. And these methods are so addictive that we all can agree, like to an extent, like now we are wired that whenever we get bored, we just use these methods instantly brush away our boredom. I think 99% of the people who are watching this video, including me, by the way, we all can, like many of us do not even realize how much we use our phone, and like how we literally start using Instagram or YouTube or Twitter without even realizing it. Like this applies to me, this applies to you. I'm pretty fucking sure this applies to both of us. Okay, most of us do not even realize like when our Insta got opened and when we started scrolling. And this is just an observation that I'm talking about. The observation of like how getting boredom is not at all a choice, is not at all a need. Now you can completely avoid boredom. And when you hear this initially, I mean, it does not sound that bad, right? Like, okay, dude, like I worked for 1 hour, I'm bored. Okay, let me just use my phone for 5 minutes and then I'll keep it and I'll get back to it seems pretty normal to me. It seems pretty okay to me. Well, what if I tell you, like, you're this mentality of yourself, right? Like, you're this mentality of approaching work is actually causing you to stop growing and making improvements. And I mean this like as a dead serious sentence. The nature of us avoiding boredom has caused us to basically not be productive to a huge extent. Okay, and I'll explain in this video why. In order to explain this, first we need to understand the cycles of life. What does the cycles of life mean? Okay, the cycles of life means the method of life through which you live on a daily basis, or the strategies through which you live on a daily basis. An example is that a consistent cycle. A consistent cycle is a cycle where a person lives a lifestyle where he lives a very balanced and consistent lifestyle. Then another example would be the cycle of grinding, or the cycle of extreme hard work, where a person basically just works all the time, okay, and he does not spend quality time on recovering, and he just works in volume, works like 12 hours a day, okay. He works 12 hours a day in order to basically be productive. I think the examples that I took here for the methods of living is commonly known to all of you guys. You can also agree that majority of the people usually live within these cycles. Majority of the people either follow the cycle of consistency, or majority of the people live like this extreme, like hardcore style, extreme like this grinding lifestyle, right? And I am here to say that both of these people are extremely stupid. And these people are extremely unproductive. And let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the cycle of consistency. If you're a guy who lives a consistent lifestyle, like the way we can describe your life is that your life goes like this, straight. It goes straight. And now, if your life goes straight, you never took any stress, you never took any bump to increase your baseline. Like, if this is the baseline, right? Like, imagine a graph, and like this is the baseline of your productivity. You never fucking really did anything to increase this baseline. So you're stuck. You're in a way stuck. Your productivity is limited. You never grow your productivity. And the second types of people, which are like these people of extreme grind, these people, they initially make huge growth, right? So like you'll see like in a graph, like they'll make growth, but the truth is that the truth about humans is that you can say God, nature, galaxy, whatever, it has built humans in a way that humans need recovery and humans fatigue. You need to understand this fact about humans. Humans are not creatures that can work 25 hours. It's not possible. Sorry, 20, 24 hours. 24 hours. It's not possible for us, right? It's literally impossible for a human to work 24 hours. Matter of fact, if you will see, many intellects and many scientists actually understood this fact, and they spent a huge time on recovery rather than on working. An example here would be, how many hours do you sleep? How many hours out? How many hours do I sleep? Yesterday I was writing scripts for these videos and I was pretty fucking like exhausted, like working, and so I slept like 2 3 hours. I don't know. I'm sounding like I'm in the second category, but like hear me out till the end, right? And so let's ask you, how many hours do you sleep? I think you'll say 6 hours, right? 7 hours, 8 hours. You know how many hours did Einstein sleep? He slept for 10 hours on a day, and then he also had a nap in between. Like that is the amount of recovery these extremely smarter people and more effective people than us have spent on recovery. Okay, and it is the truth of nature. It is the truth of humans. It is the truth of animals. That animals require recovery after a certain time. You cannot sprint forever, okay? Because your body will eventually slow down. You cannot do a certain task forever because your body will fatigue. And so these people, what happens with these people is that they start to work, right? They're extremely pumped. They fucking like start to work. And when they start to work, initially they have like growth, and they just try to keep on working, and then the graph actually begins to go down with time. Okay, they just do not realize it, and then after 3 months, when their ego is finally fucking shattered, they're like, fuck, I wasted my life away. I wasted like 3 months and I didn't do much productivity. And that exactly sounds like me. So now, if the cycle of consistency is extremely unproductive, as I proved you, as the cycle of grinding is unproductive, as I proved you, if I proved you like these cycles are extremely unproductive, then what is the most effective method of productivity? The answer is the answer is the cycle that actually uses both of them in a strategical order. It's like a mega cycle that has different phases in it, okay? And these phases include grinding and also consistency. And we'll talk about this cycle. I learned this cycle from Dan O, okay? And this mega cycle, it has 4 phases, and the phases are perplexity, curiosity, intensity, which comes in grinding, and then consistency, which we talked about. And I think that finally I can talk why, if you do not get bored in your life, if you do not allow yourself to get bored in life, you will never really grow. Okay, you will never grow your baseline of productivity, and you will understand this as we speak about the cycles. The first thing that I said about was perplexity, right? Now, what does perplexity means? Perplexity means your confusion. What this phase of your life is, that in this phase you're extremely confused and sort of honestly demotivated, and you're demotivated. And so in this phase where you're demotivated, you begin to question stuff and you actually try to find answers, which will bring us to a second phase. But let's not go directly to the second phase, and let's keep continuing talking about the first phase. In order to actually get confused, in order to actually question, you need to get bored. If you do not let your brain fucking question, if you do not let your brain think, by constantly using phone, okay, by constantly jamming your head, by constantly listening something, by not sitting in silence, you never give your brain a chance to question. That just shows like how important boredom is, because you need to get bored in order to start to question, in order to try to find answers. And this brings me to the next phase, which is like the phase of curiosity. Now, before we deep dive into curiosity, many people don't even reach the phase of curiosity. And the reason why they do not reach the phase of curiosity is because they never fucking finish the first phase, which is perplexity. And they never finish the first phase because they just avoid getting bored. Like, as I said, boredom is important, but people nowadays, rather than getting bored, they just numb themselves from dopamine, which is phone, which is food, which is, stupid Netflix shows. Boredom, bored, if you do not get bored, you will never enter the first cycle anyway, the first phase anyway. And if you do not finish the first phase, how can you get to the second phase, right? Anyways, let's talk about the second phase. The second phase is curiosity. Now, this is the phase where you start to explore. You had questions in your mind, which you got these questions because you sat with yourself in peace, not getting distracted, getting bored. You got bored intentionally so that you could question. and now you try to find answers of this question. And as you find answers of this question, these two phases help you to basically build goals that you wish to achieve for the next few months or years of your lifetime. Now again, curiosity beats boredom, because if you get a question in your head, rather than stressing yourself towards finding the answer, rather than doing that, you just fucking scroll and avoid working hard towards finding answers. You'll never find the answers. And the truth is that, that is why I strongly believe many people just stay stuck to the first two phases, because the first two phases strongly required you to get books. And that is why many people, that is why you hear almost everyone say, what do I wish to do in life? I do not know what I wish to do in life. I do not know what I want to be when I grow up. Because you never fucking sat with yourself. You never sat with yourself and said, okay, what do I wish to do? The next phase is the phase of intensity. This is the phase where you finally know, okay, these are my goals, and now you work your living ass off. You work extremely hard so that you can achieve these goals. These are the phase. This is the phase where you will make the most money. This is the phase where you will get the most fit. This is the phase where you will make the most results. This is the phase where you will make the most outcome. And now it sounds good, right? And so now you might be thinking okay, so grinding and intensity sounds good. But as I said before, do not forget what I just said before. As I said, eventually you will burn out. It is how nature has built humans. So you cannot follow the phase of basically being intense throughout your life. And also another reason why you cannot follow this, eventually just being intense will become mentally undesirable. And I believe that's the cycle, right? The cycle is that you get extremely motivated because you finally have your goals, that okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then what you have to do is that you have to work your ass off to achieve them as quick as possible by working extremely hard. And then you let yourself, through all that fatigue, finally you let yourself recover, which is the first phase. We will come to it. But that is the order. So if you do not understand the signal from your body that hey, we have done the task and we have done as much we could have, if you do not understand this fact and you just keep trying to push, even after all, eventually it will begin to go down. Eventually it fucking. And so this brings us to the next phase, the phase of consistency. The phase of consistency is the phase that helps us from going going downwards from all the progress we just made. Okay, it is the phase where you basically lower the amount of work that you were doing than before, and honestly also enjoy yourself a bit. And this is the phase where you basically get to the consistency phase. As I said before, you do not really make any progress for a few days, for a few bit time of your life, because what happened is that you worked your ass off, right? You completely worked your ass off. Your body is tired, okay, and you experience new form of hard work. Now your body requires to get settled to this new level of stress, okay, and you just do this by letting yourself recover after basically working so hard for a few duration, which is the consistency phase, which you do in the consistency phase. Now, as we have talked about all these graphs, all these phases, I think I would like to make a graph of it. The graph of it is that in the starting curiosity and perplexity phase, or the otherwise, you do not really stay in this phase for a long time. And in this phase, you do not really make progress, or neither you fall down, right? This is the phase you slightly make progress. And then comes the intensity phase. This is the phase where you begin to make the huge progress. And then comes the consistency phase, where you again get balanced out, right? You again get balanced out. You get chilled out. Okay, you basically reach a straight line. Now, when we create this entire graph, you can look. It looks like this, right? Like a wave. And let's look. What's the average of here? Okay, the average is around here, right? Now, when you went through this entire cycle, due to your hard work, your new base is basically this new line. So initially you were at zero, this was the starting point. But now your starting point is actually this new part, okay, this new line, okay. And then let's you again follow this cycle. Again the C curve, again the wave. Now let's draw the average of this new thing, right? It will be around here. See, do you see now how the cycle of complexity, curiosity, intensity, and consistency actually it actually proves through a graph that yes, look at me, I can give you growth. It actually proves this, okay. And what I've noticed is that in all of these phases, boredom is extremely important. Boredom is important in perplexity, so you start to question and you make your questions. Boredom is important in the curious phase, so you actually try to find answers for your question and get stressed out and like actually make progress rather than avoiding it. In intensity you need to be bored because you cannot be distracted when you're basically working non-stop. Okay, this is a phase where you work endlessly, and if you're working endlessly, one thing needs to be sure that you do not get distracted. Boredom. So intensity also requires boredom. I think consistency is the only phase where boredom is a less required thing, but still, the entire thing as we have talked just shows how boredom is extremely necessary in order to be productive. And that's it. That's the whole point of this video. Hopefully you get my idea. I never have any outros for my videos. Hopefully you enjoyed. Subscribe, you know the fucking thing. Bye.